The one church I went to was called the Los Angeles Church of Christ. This guy sits me down, a guy named Edward, never forget. I'm sitting there with my girlfriend who's an actress in Hollywood and beautiful girl. And he says, so when's the last time you guys had sex? I said, right before this meeting. He says, you can't come to church if you're not going to commit to, you have to drop sex. I said, brother, we're good.
Yeah.
Are we good? And I walked away. And you live in Iran, you have a hard time believing in God. I would always get kicked out of Bible study. My dad and mom would come in and say, why can't you just sit there? I'm like, I don't believe this stuff. I said, why is it?
Were your parents Christians?
They're Christians, both of them. I said, why is it that if we're getting bombed in Iran, the parks I'm going to, that building we used to go to, the whistling sound, tabajo, tabajo, alamate qermez, attention, attention. The sign of red means that planes have crossed the border and boom. So all of these thoughts that stay with you, yeah, I don't believe in God. We go to Germany, my parents get a divorce. I even get less, desire to want to have any kind of closeness to God. 12 to 18, zero church, zero anything. You couldn't get, I was a guy at church making fun of the pastor. And I go to the Army, I'm in boot camp. And in boot camp, in AIT, I had one of the higher PT scores, so they gave me and a few other guys the opportunity to go spend time at this one camp for 2 days. And this guy had the swing from trees into the lake and pool table. I'm like, this is great to get away from all the stuff we're doing. But with one caveat, every night we had to listen to him do Bible study. And by the way, even then, that's 97, the military, 26 years ago. So I was sitting back and I would play with the billiard balls in the back. I would just kind of do my thing and he's doing his thing. And then at the end of it, he comes up to me and says, hey, son, my parents gave me this Bible as a gift in 1974, December 24th of 1974. I'll never forget. I have it till today. He says, I think you need this more than I need this. I said, I'm telling you, I'm the wrong guy to give this to. It's a waste. This is your parents. It's a gift. He says, son, I've been watching you. I've been listening to you. You need this. Just take it for me. Trust me. So I finally take it. I leave. Why is this guy giving it to me? I don't read the Bible. But I sit there, started praying 3 times a day. My prayer started like this. God, I don't believe in you. I think it's fake. I think it's for weak people. But if you're out there, great. I want to know something. But if not, I'm talking anyways. Here's what's on my mind today. I start going on a journey. And I start going to everything I can. I knew Muslim because I grew up in Iran, so I understood Hezbollah, Muslim, their beliefs, Prophet Muhammad. I've gone through that route. I started looking at Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, Dianetics, what he believes in, what their ideas are. I started looking
at...
Did
you test your Seton levels?
I went through a lot of it. By the way, I did assist and all these things you got to do. Very interesting. It reminded me of a Freemason model, like you can go up and move up and all this stuff, plus a few other ancillary stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then eventually I became a Christian at 25 years old. January 21st or some date like that in 2004, I become a Christian.
Believe this, you either worship a God or you worship yourself. And I think that at that moment in your life, I want to know, what was it completely that opened your eyes? Because there's people that will, you could give them all the evidence in the world, but they'll reject it because they want to worship their lifestyle of sex, their lifestyle of drinking, their lifestyle of this. What was your pivotal moment, and what would you give to your enemies and your friends to just give them that information? Because I think, and this is just from my point of view, I think that's when you started really just taking off.
So I'll give you a complete curveball here. What percentage of her past do you know?
A lot of it. I would say almost all of it.
Do you think you know 100% of it?
I would believe I do, on the aspect of, in this relationship, the one who runs it is the Lord. So I can never judge her for her past. I can never judge her for her future.
Okay. So when you're marrying somebody, a man wants to know what? Everything. Why? We're insecure, we're protected, we're territorial. Mm-hmm. We have this natural, hey, you're mine. Hey, I want to make sure. I need to know, what happened with that guy and how many this.
I don't want to walk into a place and be embarrassed.
Totally get it.
Yeah.
And then later on in my life, what if stories come up and then I'm going to be embarrassed and da-da. Yep. These are all valid concerns that a territorial man will have. Totally innocent that we have. Okay. You can go back and forth with that in your mind, saying, I'm not getting married until I know 100% of the stuff. You ain't never going to get married. You're just never going to get married. So what's the moral of the story there? Okay, I'm the guy that has to know everything. Well, now I got a problem because it's not going to happen to me. I'm the mathematician. I'm the freaking math guy. I'm the angle guy. I'm the counting every light in a place. I'm the guy that's counting how many Celsius, I'm the guy that's counting how many lines goes all the way down, having a conversation with you. I'm counting those little buttons in here in that corner to see how many, is it 9 or is it 12? I'm just kind of going, I'm that guy, right? So everything with my brain, the reason why I love math is because I can use Pythagorean theorem to get an answer to a formula that's the definite answer, not the maybe answer, not the 99% answer. So I have a problem with faith for a guy like me because I'm not gonna know 100%.
So it was a nurture thing. Weren't taught faith when you were younger.
No, I was taught faith when I was younger, but I was the guy that got kicked out of Bible study in a Syrian church in Iran, in Tehran, where they kicked me out. They're like, you're asking too many questions. This is not what we're going to have. You got to get out of the class. And they kicked me out. I said, I'm not a Christian, guys. Told my mom and dad they were disappointed. I said, listen, I'm not going to go believe in this God that if he loves us so much, why are we getting bombed so many times? Why we get bombed 160 sometimes in a single day? Yeah, I'm not good with this. I don't believe God exists. No matter how much I read of Lee Strobel, Case for Christ, if I read C.S. Lewis, Mere Christianity, Cost of Discipleship, give me every book I could get my hands on from Billy Graham as to 4 different, God is either this, or he's that, or he's this, or I'm going to go read this guy and read the Scientology argument of Christianity, and I'm going to see the debate of this Muslim of Christianity on why this, and this guy that before Christianity on the Indian religion that did the same exact thing was married. I can go all of that stuff. And even if I do my entire lifetime, I'm not going to read all that material. So eventually there's going to come a point in your life that you're going to have to take certain risks in your life. There is risk to staying single, big risk. If I tell you right now, I'm looking at Dylan, my 9-year-old son, and he says, Dad, what would happen if the war doesn't happen in Iran and Iran was at peace? I said, brother, I got to tell you this, Dilly boy, in a weirdest way, I'm glad it happened. Why, Daddy? Because I can't imagine life never meeting you. Coming from a guy that has to know 100% because I'm a guy that takes calculated risks. Here's what I learned. When it comes down to marriage, everything's about odds. You don't know what's going to happen. You could change, she could change. As long as you have, your faith in God and you do your part, your best, and she does her part, you guys go 1 year at a time, you're increasing the odds. But it's still not going to be 100%.
Yeah, of course.
Kids, same way. You're going to have kids, the fear of kids. You got miscarriage, you got this, you got that, you got this. There is risk. What if you only have daughters? 4 kids, it's all daughters. What are you going to say? I want a son. What if you only have boys? You never have a daughter. It's God's plan for you. There's certain things in life.
It's out of your hands.
It's out of your hands. So faith, marriage, kids, these areas, I don't want to control. As a control guy, I don't want to control those specific areas. So the person you're talking about that's 23, 24, 25, there is a risk to staying single, and it's a massive risk. There's a risk to getting married. I'm willing to say with all the BS people keep talking about that there's risk to be married, there's more risk staying single than there is to get married.
Of course.
Yeah.
There is more risk. You have the risk of being an atheist, not believing in God. Don't worry about it. It is a risk. It is a greater risk to be an atheist than to believe in God. Why? I'm talking to Joe on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and this conversation came up, right, about faith and all this stuff. And Joe has his own philosophies, and when he has all these different people, there's a reason why he's loved, because he'll talk to everybody about it. I said, look, right now with what's going on, you know who the establishment, people of power hate historically? Guess who they've hated? People who are hopeful, people who are faithful, people who have the faith to believe the future looks bright. You can't control those types of people. It's a very weird dynamic. Their eyes are different. There's fire in those eyes. You know what the eyes look like when somebody is hopeless or doesn't have, it's like so faithless? You know what their eyes look like? Defeated.
This is testimony number 39 in our Atheist Converts to Christianity series on the risk which atheists take. Of course, they're taking a huge risk with their souls, but it's not just that huge risk involved, right? By being an atheist, you have no objective grounding for your morality, which makes all discussions of morality subjective and somewhat pointless. On atheism, you have no true purpose, so you get to live a life that is completely meaningless, and you have no anchor for your purpose. You might say that doing this job or doing this thing gives you a sense of purpose, that's not quite the same thing as having a true anchored sense of purpose. So you're risking your ability to have that. You're taking a lot of risks. That is why I think there are dozens and dozens of noteworthy atheist converts to Christianity in recent years, and we'll continue ahead highlighting more. And if you have a testimony you'd like to share it in the comments. If you want to reach out to me on X to discuss your testimony, you can find me there. I just updated the handle to Converts for Christ. Thanks for everyone who has continued to stop by here. Christ is King. Every knee will bow. Absolutely.